Half of you have never felt music. Not really. Same song, same room. One person gets full body chills. Hair up, spine shiver. The other feels nothing. And it's not taste. It's not depth. It's wiring. You either have the bridge in your brain or you don't. Picture this. Two friends, same headphones, listening to Beethoven's Ninth. One freezes at the drop. The other checks his phone. Scientists at USC put both brains in a scanner in 2017. The difference wasn't in their ears. It was in the white matter. One brain had a highway between hearing and feeling. The other had a dirt road. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Your brain isn't listening to music. It's predicting it. While the song plays, your brain is running ahead. Building a model. What note comes next? What chord should resolve? You can't turn it off. It's automatic. And when the music sets up a pattern, then breaks it in exactly the right way, your prediction system gets surprised. Not scared, not confused. Surprised in the best possible way. That surprise triggers dopamine. Same chemical as food. Winning. Falling in love. But here's the part that makes it stranger. The dopamine doesn't hit once, it hits twice. Your caudate nucleus deep in the center fires before the peak even arrives. It's anticipating. It already knows something good is coming. Then the moment hits, the choir enters. The voice cracks, and your nucleus accumbens fires. The release. Your brain rewards you for expecting it, then rewards you again for receiving it. That's why the buildup feels as good as the drop. You cannot force it. You cannot hold it. Researchers call it frisson, French for aesthetic shiver. 4 to 15 seconds, then gone. So why doesn't everyone feel this? In 2017, researchers compared brains of people who regularly get chills versus people who never do. The difference wasn't processing. It was connection. The chill people had denser fiber tracts between their auditory cortex and their emotion regions. More pathways, more direct communication. For them, music wasn't just sound. It was a key turning in a lock most people don't have. And here's where it gets genuinely strange. In 2018, scientists found you can fix this temporarily. They used magnetic pulses to stimulate that exact pathway. People who normally felt nothing from music suddenly reported pleasure. The pathway was always there, it just needed a signal boost. Genetic research says more than half of this trait is inherited. If music has never given you chills, you may have been born that way. Your kids might be too. But the strongest predictor isn't how emotional you are. It's how much you track the music while it's playing. People who mentally follow the melody, who try to predict what's next, who pay attention to structure, those are the people most likely to feel chills. Because their brain is more invested in the prediction game. And when the music breaks the pattern, the surprise hits harder. It also shows up in people high in openness to experience. Not just sensitivity, curiosity, fantasy, enjoyment of complexity. In other words, the people most likely to get chills are the same people who lose themselves in books, get obsessed with ideas, find beauty in things other people walk past. Think about that for a second. But where did frisson actually come from? Because this is where it gets weird. The goosebumps, hair standing on end, that's not a music response. That's a predator response. In mammals, when fur stands up, the animal looks bigger, more threatening. Survival mechanism. Scare the thing trying to kill you. Humans still have the hardware. We just don't have the fur. And somehow, music hijacked it. The same reflex that made your ancestors look bigger to wolves now fires when a choir enters unexpectedly, when a voice cracks at the right moment. But there's another theory, and honestly, it's darker. Ancient humans used music deliberately, not for pleasure, for war, synchronized chanting, rhythmic drumming, call and response before battle. The synchrony put entire groups into a shared altered state. A collective frisson, fear diminished, pain dulled, individual identity dissolved into group identity. Soldiers still use synchronized marching today for exactly the same reason. The mechanism is ancient. The playlist just changed. And one more theory connects all of this. Humans are terrible at regulating body temperature. For most of our history, surviving cold nights meant staying physically close. Researchers believe the shiver response became coupled with emotional arousal because the most intense experiences were communal. shared rituals, group singing around fire. The chill you feel alone with headphones is a faint echo of a mechanism that once kept your ancestors alive on cold nights together. Scientists have tested specific songs to find which trigger frisson most reliably. Classical dominates, Beethoven, Rachmaninoff. Moments where an orchestra builds tension for minutes, then releases it all at once. But it shows up in modern music too. Kanye West's Flashing Lights is one of the most consistent triggers in studies. And when you listen for it, you hear why. The song doesn't explode. It doesn't have a traditional drop. What it does is build a slow creeping tension with a sample that feels like it's always about to resolve, and never quite does. Until it does. That unresolved anticipation is exactly what your prediction system responds to most strongly. The longer your brain waits, the harder the dopamine hits when it finally arrives. Flashing Lights keeps you waiting almost the entire song. And for people wired to feel frisson, that patience gets rewarded. So here's what frisson actually is. It's a prediction system being surprised, a survival reflex being hijacked, an ancient social bonding signal firing in a completely modern context. Your brain treating a song the same way it once treated a predator, the same way it once treated the cold, the same way it once treated belonging to something larger than yourself. The music didn't create the feeling, it just found the wiring that was already there. And the fact that some people feel it and some don't isn't about taste. It isn't about depth. It's about whether two specific regions of your brain happen to talk to each other when sound comes in. One connection. That's the difference between a song that moves through you and a song that just moves through the air. The next time it happens, that shiver, that rush, that's 300,000 years of human wiring firing all at once. And that friend next to you feeling nothing, their brain is just taking a different route to the same destination. Maybe that's the most fitting end there is. Not everyone hears the same song.